Journey with Judy. Honest, open, transparent. It's hot.
There's no such thing as perfect people. There's no such thing as a perfect life. So come as you are, broken and scarred. Lift up your heart and be amazed and be changed by a perfect God.
Good morning. You are journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1, the second Sunday of Lent. Friends, I am praying that your Lenten journey is just profoundly impactful, that you are pressing into Jesus in a way that you are mindful that there is absolutely nothing that you might go through that he did not already go through. So what is Lent? Let me just remind you, it is about fasting, it is about praying, and it is about giving. But it's also about my birthday. So my birthday happens to fall on Lent this year. I think sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, just based on the liturgical calendar. But in any event, I turned 51 this past week. And here's a little background story about Judy Hehr. Is for the majority of my life, I had these really big expectations on my birthday. I expected people to know it was my birthday, to acknowledge my birthday. I always expected to get a lot of gifts from Bob, a lot of really expensive gifts from Bob, because I wanted to show them off to all of my friends. And since I have no friends anymore, no, just kidding. I really don't need those gifts. But I'm really in a different place in my life now where it's not about the gifts, right? The presents now are the presents of the people that I love the most. So what was a present to me at one time really doesn't even, just isn't like a deal maker. But there is an expectation that I have right now that, and I've had for quite some time, from my kids and from Bob on my birthday. I think it's really simple and straightforward. What I expect from them is I don't expect them to go to the store. I do not expect them to buy me anything. I don't expect them to make any sacrifices, but I do expect them, Robin, you might not know this about me, to write me a letter. Now, that letter can be one sentence, 4 paragraphs. There's no expectation around the letter. But it's just been our family tradition, of course, one that I implemented, and I see to it that it happens. And so Bob gets the same thing, Rob's. On Bob's birthday or Father's Day, I have the kids write him a letter, because let's be honest, as parents, I don't always feel like I'm doing anything right. As a matter of fact, I always feel like I'm doing everything wrong. I mean, I'm often told I am the worst parent, that nobody does it like me. I'm super crazy. And just all of those things in 364 days of the year, that like that one day, all I'm looking for is a little love. Like, just let me know that you'd rather not have anyone other than me as a mother. Just tell me one redeeming thing about me, that the legacy I'm leaving, just something. So absolutely factual, even though Lent is supposed to be about fasting, praying, and giving. I was looking for some special love. I was expecting for my kids and my man to come through. Now, sometimes Bob is like really on his game, and he'll shoot a text the week before and say, hey guys, Mom's birthday's coming up, especially now that 2 of them don't even live in our house. Like, he would be pretty good about that, like a little reminder, Mom's birthday's coming up. And then even the day before, Mom's birthday is tomorrow. He doesn't even need to say what has to be done. He's just reminding them. Well, he mentioned to me a couple days before my birthday, that he had not said anything to the kids, and did I want him to remind them of my birthday. And I was like, absolutely not. These are not 3-year-olds. I mean, my children, for the record, are 15, 18, 20, and 21. If they cannot remember my birthday, although I just want you to know, the last time I was at the doctor with Campbell, they asked her birth date. And I was like, so what's your birthday again? So just because I don't remember her birthday, there's a lot more of them than there is of me, Robs. They have one mother. I have 4 of them. Anyway, so I woke up to nothing. Robs, there was not one card, letter, nothing on my counter. Okay, so that's all right. Like, I was trying to think positive. I was getting some really beautiful texts throughout the day, people I wasn't expecting. I had 2 girlfriends come over. We sat and had coffee and laughed, and it was awesome. I kept trying to take the high road and say, okay, you know what? This is about fasting, praying, and giving. I'm going to pray not to judge my kids and hate on them. I'm going to give them some mercy, and I'm going to fast from, thinking and doing and saying and being what I want to right now, because they were not delivering. I need you to know that by 6 p.m., I had to remove myself from the table with my daughter Campbell because I went into the bathroom to cry. As a 51-year-old woman, I was sobbing in the bathroom about the fact that I must be the biggest loser mother ever on the planet. Anyway, we're going to talk about this a little bit and how this relates to Jesus and praying and fasting and giving. We'll be back after the break. You are journeying with Judy, the 51-year-old host of this show, right here on Lake 96.1. All right, welcome back. You're journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. And if you are coming in and we're not part of our opening story, it had everything to do with my kids completely dropping the ball on my 51st birthday. And it was 6 p.m. at night. And let me back up and just tell you that I did have a letter from Bob. It's so sweet, Rob. It's like my man writes these letters and he stands there to see if I cry, right? If I do not cry, visible tears where I'm doing a little gasping, he judges it as a complete and utter failure. Well, he writes the most beautiful letters and just professes the most beautiful things. And so just this, I got to be honest, his letter was not enough. His letter was awesome, but I still was focusing on what I didn't have, which was this letter from my kids. Okay, here's the deal. Because of all the things that we've been through, personally as a mother that I've been through with my kids, there's just so many different experiences and things that we've been through over the years that I do wonder, what's the takeaway? If I died today, what would they think? What would they say? What would I have imparted unto them? And are all of these rules and expectations that I, put out there, are they good or bad or indifferent? And so I was just looking for a little love, Robs, and I just was not getting it. Well, now I have to tell you that my second phone call in the morning at 6 a.m. was my son Carter. So I guess some parents would have been happy that their 21-year-old son called them at 6 in the morning. He was just starting his work day, and he said, in case the day gets away from me, I love you, happy birthday. So that was beautiful, right? All three of my kids, the other three that were at home at the time, all acknowledged me, hey, happy birthday, Mom. But I still okay, Jesus, please help me to let go of this expectation and fast about let go of what I don't, anyway. So at 6 p.m., I was with Campbell at volleyball, and she said to me, why are you being so crabby? You know that I hate writing letters. Well, as it turned out, I went out to the car, and there on my dashboard was a letter that Campbell wrote me. So, my friends, not only did Campbell write me a letter, but at 8:30 last night, an email came through from my 21-year-old son, Carter, and that was his letter after his work day. When I got home from volleyball, sitting on the kitchen counter was a letter from my daughter, Kennedy. And at 1:30 a.m. when I woke up on the couch, I looked at my phone, which I always do to check on my kids, and Chandler's letter was in my junk mail. So I did get the letters, Rob's. I got all 4 letters. And how this relates to Lent and, the story of Jesus and the transfiguration, it completely relates to that in the way that this Lenten journey is really about things going in different directions. It's really about how you wonder how you get to where you got, all the twists and turns that got you there. What would it possibly have taken in order for you to learn the lesson sooner, maybe? How many times did you wonder that you would ever get to where you needed to with that particular relationship? In this case, I'm talking about my kids. And I know that now, looking back, today's reading is about the Transfiguration, where Jesus and a few of his disciples went up on this mountain. And as they were on this mountain, Jesus was transfigured. His entire being, everything about the way he looked had changed. And they were just so taken aback. And right away, they wanted to pitch some tents, and they wanted to stay there. They said, oh, Jesus, this is so awesome. We're loving this. We're digging this. It was like that time where everything's just going the way it's supposed to go, Robs. Those moments of grace and those moments of heaven where you just would give anything to have it stay that way. And much like the disciples, I wanted that moment that I read in these letters, hearing my kids and my man profess that all this hard work and all this skin in the game and all of these efforts are not in vain. And so for that moment in time yesterday, I doubted it all. And Campbell kept saying, "You're such a brat, Mom. Like, you're 50 years old. You're being such a brat." And Campbell goes, "I just wanted to see how long you would go before you turned into a brat." So then I felt like I really, really failed. But anyway, so when these disciples went to Jesus and said, like, "Can we just stay here? This is so awesome." Jesus was so quick to remind them of the very thing that maybe we all need to be reminded about today, which is we don't learn a whole lot when we're in those places and spaces where everything is just going the way we expected it, the way we had hoped, and the way we had prayed. Those mountaintop experiences really don't change us, Robs, do they? They really don't change us. They're so necessary for the journey because they're a glimpse of what it will be like someday for us. But this life right here in the valley is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be purposeful, and we get to be passionate, and we get to be intentional and deliberate. And so Jesus, in his loving way, unlike me, who was so flippantly rebuking my children, he so lovingly made his disciples be mindful of the fact that this is great, but we can't stay here. We got to go back down and do what it is that we were called to do. And although that seems difficult at times, it is absolutely never in vain. Okay, so before we go to break, I'm just going to ask you to give some thought to which one of my kids said which thing in my letter. So I'm just curious who you think might have called me a crazy bee. Can't use the word, it rhymes with which. This is my birthday letter. My kid called me a crazy bee. I want you to wonder and take a guess who said that, Mom, you are my best friend. Who said your rules are so awful? Who said I respect you? Who said, I got more kids than I'm telling you about. Who said I couldn't imagine my life without you? And who said a whole lot of other things? I guess you're going to have to stay tuned on the other side of the break, where we will be just in a few minutes. And in the meantime, thank you to Greg Cunis for sponsoring our show. We'll be back. You are listening to Journey with Judy right here on Lake 96.1.
Wake up and smile, 'cause it's been a while. It's been like a whole day since I stopped so you could hold me. This child awaits, strong in the faith.
Welcome back. You're journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1, and we're celebrating my 51st birthday today on the show, and we're celebrating the second Sunday of Lent, when Jesus took his disciples up on a mountain, and not the Sermon on the Mount where he gave us the gift of the Beatitudes, but this is where Jesus was transfigured before their eyes. It's called the Transfiguration, and it's a beautiful time because that's what Lent is about for us. It is about a change in not only in appearance, but a change from the inside out that we allow to take place in our life because we're so mindful of the way we are fasting and praying and giving. And when we do those things and we allow Jesus to step in and live and move and have his being in every aspect of our life, something changes, Robs. And people around us are like, "Hey, what's up with that?" Well, if you're a parent in my household, my kids are still waiting for me to act like Jesus. And the reality is there's once in a great while I do, Robs, and once in a great while they do. And so I was really sad about my birthday because I did not get my letters from when I opened my eyes. My kids literally made me wait all day to get these letters. And you know what? Much like the disciples who were hanging on Jesus' every word on this mountaintop, I'm hanging on what the words are that my kids are going to say on my birthday or for any particular occasion where they write their thoughts, because I know it's really how they feel, and so much of the other 364 days of the year, they don't feel it. And here's the other beautiful thing. I guess even if all of it was a lie, I still love it. I love to receive the gift of their feelings, the fact that they can articulate and regurgitate back to me those things that I feel like I just, we invested so much. Like, are they getting it? Will they ever understand the why? Like, why Judy is this crazy bee, right? Chandler is the one who called me the crazy bee. I don't know how many of you get a card from your children that uses that word to describe you, but my son said you are a crazy bee. But he also told me that he is blessed by another year of my endless support and love. He went on to say that nothing will break the bond that I have with you, Mom. And he actually did, like Campbell. Campbell is the one who called me her best friend. As far as the respect factor, Carter was the one who said that he has a tremendous amount of respect for me. All of my kids consistently in their letters said that my rules have been absolutely awful. However, it seems like these letters, compared to the older letters of years ago, it seems like they're starting to get it. And you know what? I'm praying that 2 weeks into Lent, you too are starting to get it. You are starting to understand that 2 weeks in, we get to journey with Jesus to places and spaces that seem uncertain, and where we will encounter the unknown. So much of my journey as a parent has been uncertain and unknown. And I just kept pressing in to what I knew to be right, what I knew to be for a higher and best good, because that's what love is, Robs. We've talked about this before. Love, by definition, is desiring the highest and best good. And I am definitely not patting myself on the back as a parent, because I have failed. I always say the biggest room in the Hehr house is the room for improvement, because we can always be improving. But what I do know is that I gave up for many years what I wanted in the moment for what I wanted the most. And I will continue to do that. And even if that means that Campbell has to hate me all through high school like all my other kids did, I'm good with it. But here's the deal. Just like this mountaintop experience, that or your experience of being a parent, then and now, like, the full meaning of that experience might not even become clear until a much later date. It might not even become clear until you get back down in the valley after some period of time has gone on. And then all of a sudden you see things different, you hear things different, you know things that you didn't know. But it's not without pain, Robs. It is not without pain. And I know that what happened with Jesus and his disciples at the Transfiguration was he wanted them to not be afraid. Like, don't be afraid. Just be. Just go ahead and do what I know you can do, what I've given you the grace to do, and ultimately what it is that you want to do, because I created you for this. I created you for a genuine desire to fast and to give and to pray. And when we do that, Robs, we just show up as a better version of ourselves. Now, one other thing that totally related, because I was bringing home Campbell from volleyball the day of my birthday, and there was a car accident, a terrible car accident where they rerouted us. And so that's a little nerve-wracking for me, because I don't know my way like to Walworth and back. I live in the next town. And so Campbell right away put it in the GPS. And Robs, it felt like we were going backwards. I mean, it was like, go 1 mile, make a left, go 2 miles, make a right, go turn around, make a circle. I thought that we were either on a hidden camera or we were going to end up back in, Illinois or Iowa. When the reality was, I kept doing what it told me, and it kept taking me closer and closer to my destination. Now, it was not without uncertainty and doubt that I kept pushing the pedal on the gas, but I kept listening to what was told. And this Sunday of Lent is no different. Let this Lenten journey take you in a different direction, both geographically and spiritually. Get a glimpse of the glory of what God wants to reveal to you, whether it's through your spouse, your employer, your children. And if they all fail you, it's okay, because you still got Jesus. And we've talked about this. There's no substitute for the Savior. So thank you for your birthday wishes, those of you who sent me birthday wishes. And I pray that you continue on your Lenten journey in a way where you are fasting, you are praying, and you are giving, and you are allowing the Lord to transfigure you and your life for everything that he calls you to be. So thanks for journeying with Judy, this 51-year-old host of this show. Have a great week, and if you're not going to press into Jesus, then keep it hot, honest, open, and transparent. Peace out.